All right, we already was chopping them up about a potential replacement for Gennady Golovkin if this Canelo rematch is canceled, and it's looking to be trending towards this may be canceled because the movie theaters have definitely pulled out the Fandango who usually promotes it and put it out worldwide. They canceled it, took everything Triple G Canelo 2 off, and also it came out that Canelo Alvarez failed 2 drug tests as well. And the second drug test has way more higher elevated levels for clinician ball. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. We back. It's your boy CJ Goodfella in the building. Y'all know what it is. It's the Boston Clinic and more. If I didn't introduce myself already and what I do. But, yeah. It looked like it may be canceled. Maybe it's just, they doing that to hype the fight up some more. But definitely if it goes through, this fight should smash the pay-per-view buys it did the first time just based on the controversy it's creating. But it with Golovkin really pushing the he cheated thing, and I think they might cancel it because he put unadded pressure. If he really wanted this fight, he put unadded pressure on Nevada State Athletic Commission, the sanction belt bodies, and on Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez may be suspended for 6 or 7, 8 months. I don't know what it may be, but right, wrong, in between, Triple G still gonna fight on May 5th. And the replacement, it may be Danny Jacobs, because it makes sense, like Dan Rayfield said. Danny Jacobs fights the week before versus the solid guy who knocked out Hugo Centennial Jr. That was his claim to fame. He's undefeated. He's also number 1 to to Jamel Charlo belt at 154. The junior middleweight Charlo, not Jamal the middleweight, but yeah, they can, my hypothetical thing for that is they can roll Demetrius Andrade in Jacobs' spot, and ticket holders won't be mad about that, and push Jacobs a week back, which shouldn't mess up his training that much for May 5th to take on Gennady Golovkin in a rematch. But most people want to see Billy Joe Saunders, and most people thought that's why Billy Joe Saunders, they thought he faked a hand injury to push it back to see what was going to happen. His fight with Martin Murray, see what's going to happen with Canelo, because he was supposed to fight Martin Murray on the 14th of April, I believe, or something like that. So he injured himself and pushed it back to June. And, he might be able to plug in as well for that fight. He may be waiting on that fight as well and make an undisputed clash with Golovkin. But why I think, Danny Jacobs might get this fight is simple as this. Danny Jacobs is, joint at the hip promotional pat-wise with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn has been waiting for this guy to get this shot for quite some time. And the reason for that is, that's why he signed him, because he really believes he could beat Triple G and Canelo. But if they don't give Jacobs this fight, possibly Eddie can use Anthony Joshua as leverage to get him a fight, especially with as a Frank Warren fighter who they'll try to plug in with HBO. That's crazy, because if Eddie, they say, Eddie, no, we're going to give Billy Joe Saunders and Frank Warren that Gennady Golovkin fight on May 5th. Y'all can wait y'all turn. You got to create demand. Like Peter Nelson told him, they had an HBO Sports tell Danny Jacobs and Eddie Hearn before. But Eddie was like, you know what, fuck y'all. I'm going to take Anthony Joshua. We going to sign a deal with Showtime. Y'all not going to get him. And then they wasted their money in the rights of paying for Dylan White on HBO, because they really want to match Dylan White up with Anthony Joshua, or have him win the first bid and bring Deontay Wilder to HBO. But if they don't get Danny this shot, Eddie can use Anthony Joshua as leverage in his TV deal and take it to Showtime and really dominate HBO. So that's the leverage that Eddie, if he plays his hand, he knows plays his hand right. That's why I told you guys Danny Jacobs has the inside track to get in that fight, and especially he has an HBO fight deal. Will it be pay-per-view again? It probably will be pay-per-view again. Which are the American public more likely to pay pay-per-view for? Danny Jacobs or an unknown Billy Joe Saunders? Now, we talking about from a hardcore pure standpoint, boxing fan standpoint, we know Billy Joe Saunders would be the fight to do. And with Billy Joe Saunders being the virtual unknown in North America, he also does bring another belt to the equation. He can make this an undisputed clash, and they can push it that way. But it's a known commodity. You're going to get a good fight with Danny Jacobs, even though he don't bring a belt to the table. You're going to get a good fight again. And people, seeing the replay, and they know it's going to be a good fight between Danny and Triple G again. So that's the the compare and the contrast and stuff in the middle. Me personally, I'm a huge Billy Joe Saunders fan. He pissed me off with the little getting fat and not taking boxing serious and shit. But I've been a big Billy Joe Saunders fan. I've been saying for years he was the best defensive fighter in the UK. I just didn't think he was offensive enough to really touch Triple G. But now Triple G is on the downslope of his career, and he's getting older and older. And Billy Joe Saunders was firing on all cylinders versus David Lemieux, which Triple G won't be a David Lemieux at all. If he can stay offensive like that, even though it's versus a limited fighter, if he can keep throwing combinations and box and move, he can have some success versus Triple G. We hear his chin is very solid because the Gypsies do bare knuckle as like a right to passage thing in the UK, and that's why they vanish, because they do some wild and crazy innovative things. But this dude's grandfather or great grandfather was a bare knuckle fighter. He's done bare knuckle fighting before, from what I hear. They said he got a wonderful chin, so that makes for a great match, especially for people that want to see Billy Joe Saunders fight. Mouth shut up. And it's actually something different as well, because with Danny Jacobs, you already seen that. With something different and something unknown, I think it intrigues people more. The problem is Billy Joe Saunders hasn't showcased himself in North America enough. Fighting in Canada versus David Lemieux with an epic performance in a gym that he pitched there, he should have capitalized on that and fought, an American in America with, possibly fighting Danny Jacobs. But it's a good thing that he didn't fight, and it's a good thing that Jermall Charlo didn't fight either or as well, because now with both of these fights being pushed back or being right before the Triple G fight in Danny Jacobs' case, now Triple G has some options. So this pay-per-view isn't a total failure in my opinion. He has options to really, take care of business. We'll find out April 10th if they're going to suspend Canelo, which they should suspend Canelo. He had 2 separate failed drug tests, and the clinical ball ratings was higher in the second drug test. That's what they not talking about. And now it's serious now, because Golovkin put his foot down, and he wants fair judgment, but he still wants to fight. So, he really contradicting himself there, and he really fucked himself out of a large payday if he still wanted to go forward with the fight. And maybe he didn't, because he got a raw deal in the first fight, in my opinion. On one of the scorecards, he got treated as a bottom bitch, and he was the champion. He was second, on the poster. I think he walked second too. He was treated like a challenger when, in theory, in facts, he was the champion. So whoever he fought here, he gonna be treated like a king. His pockets might not be treated like he fighting Canelo, but he gonna be the absolute ace side. And that's the positive thing about this. And will he go for making history, or will he go for the rematch with Danny Jacobs? Obviously, I know his choice is going to be Billy Joe Saunders, which it should have been Billy Joe Saunders last June, and then he should have went on to fuck Canelo in September. He let Oscar dictate, his position. But if he fights Billy Joe Saunders, become undisputed, he still wants to reign over the division, which is no issue. When Canelo comes back, he's going to be at Triple G's mercy. And if I'm Triple G, I'm dragging him all the way to my home turf, with my home away from home turf in New York City. But I think Triple G is going to drop those belts. It's going to be a 140-pound junior welterweight thing, like with Terrence Crawford left. A lot of guys going to be fighting for belts. I think Shevchenko is going to be fighting Andrade for a belt if they hold off. Jermall Charlo is probably going to be given the belt because he fought for an interim title belt. Danny Jacobs is going to have to get in where he fit in. I don't know where he stands in the WBA rankings. I don't know where he stands in the WBO rankings. But I'm pretty sure he'd get a belt as well. And the WBA belt, super belt, will go probably to Ryota Murata, or he's going to have to fight somebody higher in that rankings for that belt, which they probably going to try to squeeze Canelo into the WBA belt rankings and get him a belt. And maybe Golovkin try to go up and fight the winner of the World Boxing Super Series tournament. If not, if Carl Froch comes back and fight the winner of the World Boxing Super Series tournament, he for real. Maybe if he wins the belt in that tournament or whatever, or Triple G can win the belt versus one of the other belt holders there, maybe him and Carl Froch can have a nice retirement bash and they can cash out together, But it's a lot of different scenarios. We got to wait to April 10th and get a for sure statement. This fight is canceled because of Canelo, and they're already making backup plans. But like I said, the movie theater Fandango thing, it pulled out, and I think it's a really, really serious thing. But if the fight goes on, it got the greatest press that they can get, and I think it turns a lot of the hardcore purist boxing fans off. Like me, I'm not interested into the fight. I'm interested more into the juice and into the bullshit of this. And finally, is Canelo gonna get, treated, finally get reprimanded for, getting this special treatment in Vegas. They need to put a stop to that. I know people say Oscar has special treatment, Floyd has special treatment, but not to this extent. Oscar De La Hoya has never been caught for performance-enhancing drugs, and neither has Floyd Mayweather. Y'all can say what y'all want to say about the xylocaine, The xylocaine, he got bad hands. The xylocaine, I don't think that it doesn't even numb your hands for a full fight. I think I had ripped my hand open last year, and it only numbs it for like minutes, I believe it is. But other than that, you never seen Floyd fail a drug test. He's the one that implemented it, and they never got all this really special treatment that Canelo's getting in Texas and in Vegas. Yeah, we seen Chavez Sr. get the treatment in Texas, and Don King was paying off referees and judges allegedly and all that stuff. We seen that. I don't think Canelo was that bad, but he's trending to be as bad, worse as Chavez Sr. And it's gonna take somebody with a Mayweather-esque performance or a knockout performance to really knock him off his pivot. And we thought Golovkin was gonna be that guy. I picked Golovkin to win that fight, I believe. I can't remember if it was Golovkin or Canelo. It was a draw anyway. But obviously Canelo was looking a little bit beefy and pumped up in that fight. And Golovkin still did some good work. He threw some shots that you thought he'd knocked out Canelo with, but he didn't. But like I said, if I had my choice, obviously it would be Billy Joe Saunders. But like I said, the Eddie Hearn thing, he got leverage with Anthony Joshua, and they want to bring him over to HBO, and they really need Anthony Joshua to help them save face. They can't lose out on no more fighters. So would I be upset if Danny Jacobs got the shot? Absolutely not. But I think the Billy Joe Saunders fight is the right guy to plug in. I think Martin Murray is going to get some cash out the deal and probably get a place on this undercard versus somebody. And, if that's the scenario to happen. But I think with Danny Jacobs being with Eddie Hearn and him having Anthony Joshua hanging over HBO's head and him already having a 6-fight deal, was on his 5th fight deal with HBO, I think it's proper for them to put him in there with Triple G. And it's proper for them, But I like to see Billy Joe Saunders be the replacement and them 7 undisputed clash. And y'all know what it is.